Hi. Okay, let me make sure live chat is on. There we go. Morning, everybody. Morning. Morning. And everybody says it's a different kind of day, but I'm just gonna make tea. Normal day to me. Okay, so I'm gonna do swing back here. Took far much more effort than it took. I've already tried. I love purple bud tea. It's like a wild tea, and it's just I really love it. And it's a wild white tea. Well, I mean they're all the same plant, but it's not aged, right? This is made from the lateral buds of ancient purple trees in Yunnan, estimated at 300 years old. Sun processed for a rich character, peach sherbet, elderflowers, and pine. I love purple bud tea. It's probably one of my favorite. I've not tried this brand's variety. This is the Me Leaf tea. I'm not an affiliate or anything. I just like to try different tea brands because they might have different sources, different qualities, and things like that. Hair's a little lopsided today. I may not have been as ready as I should have been for this. Ooh, she smells nice. Look at that. They look like, well, they are the little buds of, let me put those on there. They are the little buds of what pops up. Right, it's getting ready to be a leaf, right? And they're just super flavorful. So this is going to be weird, but my hair is going to bug me. I'm going to fix my hair because it's not uptight enough and I can feel it pulling. So, ta-da. Give me a second to put my hair up. Put it up right. You wouldn't think that with dreadlocks you can have bad hair days, but you genuinely can. And if it's not upright, like a basket on my head, it pulls. Because my hair reaches the ground. That's better. Alright. Now I feel human. Okay, so I've got my purple buds in there. These are smaller. These are smaller buds than the last variety I had, so a little extra maybe. Alright. People probably shook, haven't ever seen probably haven't seen my hair down before. And that wasn't really down, that was like vaguely loosened. So let's make some purple tea on this solar eclipse morning. I know, so many people are panicking about what's gonna happen. But from from like a space weather concept, nothing will happen besides the sun blocking out, or the moon blocking out the sun for a hot minute. It'll be okay. If anything happens, it's man-made. Right. Now, the people that are living there, as a person who lived through the last eclipse in like a totality zone, y'all are gonna have some chaos, but I mean, they'll be gone tomorrow. Right, most people it's like a one-day flash mob in your area and then gone, and then you have to wait for resources to get built back up, you know. But yeah, I am today. For us, the eclipse isn't until 10:30 in the morning, so I'm like, I do tea time and then a little bit of customer service stuff on my end. You know, like catching up with like ad comments. There is a hair in my eye, and and then it's begun. No, I'm joking. And then I am gonna plant some more seeds today. My son and my husband are working on electrifying a new part of the pasture for the goats. Probably gonna get those last potatoes finally planted. You know, but that's the day, you know. And then if anything, the only thing that's happened is I was not prepared to come live as I thought. Because I'm so busy and not paying attention. But it's tea time. So it's just a normal time, normal day. You know, I know a lot of people are apprehensive about it, you know. But I want you to know that you have no idea what's going to happen besides the basic eclipse concept, right? But like we live in like so much fear, and like I've watched people for months now feel like this is the end, right? Like today's the day, the sky is falling, and I understand that, you know, fuck, could be wrong, sky might fall, I don't know, but the concept is neither do you, or like the idea is, or the fact is, neither do you. But I do know that people have like been terrified for months, and then when it doesn't happen, they go on to the next thing to be terrified. And it's like, as a person who's lived that way before, just let it go, because it's eating you alive. It is absolutely eating you alive. And all the things that you missed out on doing for yourself, with your loved ones, friends and family, the joy you could have had because you were like hyper focused on doom. And a lot of people here may not feel like they're terrified, and that's awesome, but a lot of people really are. And like, all walks of life, people think that, you know, the sky is falling, and I don't know. Even if it does, it does. There's literally nothing you can do about it to stop it. You know, so I know if the sky falls, I had some good morning tea, and yesterday I had, you know, a Sunday dinner with my small family, and it's sunny out today, and I'm happy about that. And my tomato plants that well, the things that I repotted the other day are looking great. Plants are happy in the greenhouse. You know, puppy's doing good. You know, it's okay. We're having life. That's all we can do. Ooh, that is so nice. I love purple teas. They're very floral. They're very right. I think I see the hair that was in my eye on my cheek now. They're very right about the elderflower blooms, but like, just imagine you're drinking like a delicate white bloom. You don't even have to know what the bloom is. It's just, there's also like definitely that pine, but really gentle. Like, we're tasting the resins, right? We're tasting the resins of this tea bud, and a lot of people don't realize this, but I slurp for a reason. It's not because I don't have bad manners. Or I do have bad manners, fuck it. I slurp because it allows you to taste the tea more fully across all of your taste buds, right? If you just take a drink, it's fine and dandy, but if you like, it pulls it across further on your tongue, and you get more complexity from your tea, you know. And if you put your pinky up, it tastes even better. But yeah, you know, oh, yesterday I saw, you know, a big new patch of chickweed when I was out walking Lula, and I was like, ooh, chickweed. Now, chickweed, she grows around here, but she doesn't ever get, like, if you go towards, like, the coast or somewhere, like, she gets, like, big and thick and abundant, and here I'm like, little baby chickweed, and so, you know, they never really get more than that, because it's a very dry climate here, so it's like, she doesn't really get a long time to grow, right? So I was happy to see her on the property, and then I saw a bunch of dead nettle popping up, which isn't related to nettle at all. She's a mint. But I realized I don't think I have a dead nettle tincture video, so I'm probably going to do that one. Speaking of, did everybody get to see my new video on the cayenne pain salve? It's like literally like one little jar. You can make it in your oven, no mess. It's so easy. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you go and check that out. And then I have the wine cap planting mushroom video that's still like for members, because I didn't want to, like, I realized, I was like, well, I'm posting the cayenne salve one this weekend, and so I think I might drop that wine cap one midweek, so I can do the dead nettle tincture next weekend, right? If you are a channel member, you get early access to videos, but if you can't become a channel member, that's okay. They release on weekends anyways. I'm just trying not to like release too many on weekends, because then, you know, the algorithm's like, and like pushes you down. But yeah, I thought, you know, it's so easy. Now, you could do a longer infused salve, like an oil for sure, and it would probably be a bit more effective, but for right off the bat, it's so easy. And the funny thing is, and I should have mentioned it in that video, as your pot of salve sits there, the cayenne will naturally infuse. It won't just like be suspended and not be pushing its way into the oil and beeswax. So what's interesting is, like, if you try it and you feel like it's not super effective, try it 2 months later, right? once it's had like time to sit and infuse into there, you know. And then you could always play around. You could always play around with putting more cayenne pepper in there, but some people like do too much from the jump, like burn their skin, you know. And we're not really looking to do that. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that tea time lined up where I had time to do this before. We only see like 30% of it here, right? But that's more than last time that we had a little eclipse, right? The time before that, and the big Oregon one, we saw it all. But, you know, and what, this is the last one for like 40, 50 years, I think, you know? Um, but yeah, I'm slowly getting into like the rhythm of video making again, and these tea times have really helped with that. And I know that everyone's like, I miss when you used to do the meeting plants in the wild video, and I get those comments all winter long. And I'm like, well, everything's asleep right now. So, you know, as the land wakes up, you can expect videos like that to return, especially if I haven't made a video about it before, you know. I try to just focus on plants that people might actually find growing in their area too, although I think I'm pretty close to exhausting that to an extent. Um, so I might have to start making more like, these are my region specifics, but like maybe one of these days, I've thought about it. It'd be really cool to do like a where I travel and like look at plants in different area videos, right? Like, because in my mind's like you could use that as an excuse to like, today we're in Italy. Right? Like as if I could, but I mean that'd be kind of cool. You never really see travel shows like that where it's like, well, you see travel shows all the time, but like not like an herbal travel show, you know? But that's me pretending like I don't have like lots of animals and responsibilities at home, right? But dreaming is important because like even if I only ever do 1% of it, like going to like Idaho, right? That's, it's okay. It's okay to dream even if we never, you know, fully make it. Like the dreaming is what's important. It keeps your brain happy and ideas flowing, right? Um, but yeah, so today is a day for specialty and gardening. I have put off that last batch of potatoes being planted, but to be fair, we had a lot of rain the last 3 days, like sideways, freezing cold wind rain, and I'm like, I'll push through a lot of stuff, but I just stayed inside and randomly did stuff inside, and I did repot all of my, like, well, basically everything in my little greenhouse right here. Um, and they're already looking better. I hated that soil. That soil that I bought, like, for seedlings really fucked me over. But it's crazy how fast they've bounced back. It's only been, like, 3 or 4 days since they've been in new soil, and they're already, like, green with, like, 3 new leaves, right? Um, but would dead nettle be good as an oxymel? Yeah, dead nettle would work well as an oxymel. She doesn't taste great, so the taste of the vinegar and the honey will help cover that up a lot, you know? Well, hi, sister. A cat came to visit. We rescued her, and she is the weirdest fucking cat. There's no other way to say it. Like, she doesn't really meow, except for, like, when you go to bed at night, and she apparently is, like, or she gets lost in the house somewhere, and she, like, horror movie screams at the top of her lungs in weird ways, and you're like, okay, cat. And I think she's a little slow. I think her head is really small, and I looked it up. I'm like, I think she has small head syndrome. And so she's a trippy cat. I mean, she's nice, you know. I'm glad we rescued her, and she catches mice, so that's what's important. But yeah, safest way to take cleavers, I can't remember, something about cold water overnight. You can, cleavers is pretty safe. She's a traditional pot herb, meaning something that you would have cooked with if you're of like European descent. And you do have to cook her before you eat her, just because she can stick on her way down, right? Um, but I like to make a cleavers infusion out of dried cleavers with hot water. You can do a cold water like blend overnight, but most people just take cleavers, put it in cold water, blend it up, let it sit for an hour, and then drink the water. You know, but you can also make a tincture. If you want to take it a step further, blanch your cleavers in hot water, like boiling water, for like a minute, and then blend it in your cold water, because the hot water is going to break open the cellular structure of the cleavers. But if you take big amounts of cleavers like that, like she's all about cleaning you out, and I mean cleaning you out. Like you, not everybody, but you'll probably shit pretty substantially, you know, just because it's lots of greens. But really, she gets your lymphatic system up and running. Um, but yeah, cleavers is definitely that time of year to be making tinctures and all that kind of stuff. She also makes a really nice infused oil for like lymphatic, like if you have like sore breast or you want to get your lymphatic system up and running, or if you also have like irritated skin, she's good for that. Somebody said, just letting you know, you made me feel at home on a spiritual level, and I love to hear you speak about anything. Thanks for existing. Well, that's very kind of you to say. I'm glad I make you feel comfortable. Because everybody's welcome here, you know. And somebody said, do you have a lavender magnesium balm recipe? Magnesium is hard to get to infuse into oil. I've done it a couple ways. You can get magnesium to infuse into oil if you don't mind waiting like 3 months with consistent heat, like a seed heating mat or a honey blanket, what they call if you're making a big bucket full, which is what I've used over the years. You gotta wait like 3 months, and then you'll get like 30 to 20% infusion at best, right? Or and you can do that like alongside of lavender buds, just infusing your oil, or you can powder it, and then you can try your best to mix it in as you're making the balm or the salve. The balm would work better, and then you rub it on topically. That way it will be a little, depending on your capacity to powder it, it can, well, even if it'll be grainy because it won't have dissolved into there. But I've done it both ways, you know. um but yeah, California poppy is better as a tea or a tincture for anxiety and arthritis. I like a tincture better, honestly. I mean, a tea is okay, uh, but tincture is good because it grabs onto her latex properties, because California poppy does have, well, all poppies have naturally occurring latex. There's no opium in California poppies before somebody fucking ats me. I get that all the time. They're like, oh, telling people to use opium. I'm like, no, are you? Right? Tea's not bad. Uh, Capsules are good. It just depends. If you're gonna make a tea, it needs to be like a little stronger than like just like a tea bag's worth, right? But tincture is the most convenient way, outside of like taking capsules, obviously. But I think there's best of both worlds, because with a tincture, you're getting, if you're using a home-brewed vodka, which is 50% water, 50% alcohol, you are getting the water-soluble properties, but there will be a lot of properties and alcohol-soluble properties that you'll be missing out on because you're just making an extract, because alcohol and water have limits of what they can extract. But also, when we work with something like a tea, we get more of the water-soluble properties, but if we work with a capsule, we're getting all of the properties because we're ingesting the plant as a whole. So my preference would probably be tincture and or capsule, could be even be combined, and then maybe tea last. But topically you can make like a California poppy salve for pain relief. But yeah, somebody said, can I make a hemp tincture? Yeah, I've got videos on that. Let's see. Question. To use milk thistle seed, best to crush one seed and then add to water, steep it, and drink low and slow. I know, waiting to start with one seed. Yeah, you could do that. It would help open it up. You could even like soak it overnight, but just make sure that you're consuming the water too, because a lot of the constitutes would be extracted into the water, and you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater type of situation. But yes. It's good tea morning. I am coming up on my garden deadline, and I'm not letting myself feel like I'm behind, even though I am. I'm just doing one little thing a day that I can, that I'm able to, and reminding myself that I'm getting more done than I did last year, which was nothing. And the year before that, I got so much done that I couldn't enjoy any of it. So it's like I have to work to not step into that chaos of I'm late to a very important date. Right? And so I'm like, I'm I'm just doing what I can. We're going to have a lot of perennials this year, and reminding myself that even if I get things planted a little later, even if I don't have a great crop this year, I will next year, because they're perennials and they come back and they'll push up and wake back up as soon as they are ready to outside. And then I'm like on time every time, right? Um, One thing that I'm kind of really excited about is I forgot. No, I had it in my head, and then I saw a question about the vitamin C, and then it was just like slipped away. Just slipped away. What am I excited about? Okay, I've got mushrooms, I've got the perennials, I've got. Oh, lost it. Completely lost it. In like 10 minutes, I'll be like, oh yeah. Completely lost it. So I'm going to answer the question that threw me, because that's what happens when I don't just stare myself in the eye. In your vitamin C video, you use orange peels. What do you do in the drying process to keep them from molding? Thank you. Um, I just. It's going to bug me that I lost it. Um, I just laid them in a cardboard box next to like my air filter, because there was good airflow there. But typically, if it was summertime or what have you, or if you live in a humid environment, and to be transparent, we use a wood stove, so like the humidity in our house is like maybe 20% at best, right? But if you're not living with that, check out my curing videos. It's basically where you use a dehumidifier in an enclosed place to dry things by pulling out the moisture versus using heat. Right, and it works really well. It really does, to help maintain like the freshness and like herbal and mineral content of whatever plant you're working with. It is fantastic. Um, Somebody said, "Don't fall down the hurry rabbit hole, Alice." Yeah, and apparently I'm so not falling down it. I'm forgetting all about it. I don't remember what it could be that I'm excited about. I'm like, I have the rhubarbs up, potatoes. I talked about perennials. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I've got all the perennial broccolis. I've got perennial cauliflower. I've got perennial kales. I've got perennial collards. I've got sunchokes on the way, even though I don't really like them. I'm just going to have them growing. Worst case scenario, they're animal feed. Yep, don't remember what I was excited about. And so, who knows? Maybe I was lying. I got seedlings like crazy. I've got ginger that I'm excited about growing. That wasn't what I was excited about though. It was something outside and perennial. I don't think it was the mushrooms. I don't know. I have no idea. It is fucking, it checked out and left. Whatever it was. But anyhow, so I having a good day. I am excited about 2 new milk goats, but that's not what I was going to talk about. But I'm excited about that too. We decided to add 2 more Nubians, and then I found a way to make lactose-free milk for my daughter. But I'm going to make a video about it. But you can get drops, you know, to make like sweetened lactose. They're like sweet, you know, like you can't use it for making your yogurt or sour cream from the store lactose free, but you can add it to milk you buy and then turn that milk into yogurt or sour cream if you wanted to. But the thing is, you'd have to be dependent on those drops. But because we have raw milk, and the way cultures work is I can culture that raw milk a small amount one time with the drops for the enzymes to wake up and eat the lactose in the milk, right? And then I can use that to start the next one, and I can use that one to start the next one, and like so in theory I only ever need to use like 10 drops of this bottle that I've bought. But I think that's pretty cool, because then you can turn around and you can turn that into yogurt. You could turn it into milk kefir, although milk kefir is already pretty well lactose free. You could then turn it into sour cream. You could make sherbet. You could make, you know, all kinds of cheeses and things that are naturally lactose free because you've allowed. Now, some of the cheeses might mess up because they kind of require the lactose, like protein, and something's already eaten it. But, so more goats, more milk. But I can't, I mean, we haven't bought milk from the store unless we're in the dry season, but even then it's like, Jesus Christ, it's like, I don't know, here, we're in a food desert, it's like $8 or $9 for half a gallon of almost expired organic milk, and you think, well, don't buy organic, but then it's only like $1.50 cheaper. Right, and it's Walmart brand, and it's got like a date on it that's somehow not bad for the next month and a half. And you're like, I don't even know if that's milk, right? But yeah, somebody said, question, where can I find your bone broth video? I would like to send it to my friend who is suffering from bone cancer. I don't have a bone broth video. I need to make one, but I don't have a bone broth video. I talked about it. I think I talked about it in the last Q&A. Somebody asked about making bone broth, but it's pretty simple. I mean, it's just um, bones in a pot and barely cover them with water. People make the mistake when they overcover them. Barely cover them with water and then simmer it down halfway, put the water back to where it was, simmer it down again, put the water back to where it was, simmer it down again. And then basically you strain that out and you'll have a big thing of jello. You're just making gelatin basically. Um, but anyhow, yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff going on this spring that I'm pretty excited about, and I don't know. But at the same time, I don't feel overwhelmed by it because I've been able to shift the apothecary and, what we do exclusively for a living, and get a lot of help. I'm really excited because I'm getting help with making big batches of creams. That's a big deal because a lot of people love my creams, but it'll take me like 4 days straight to make like about 1,200 bottles, and I make all different varieties in that amount, and then I'll post them to the shop, and then most of the super popular ones are gone in a handful of days, and then people are like, where are the creams? And that's such a blessing, but also like my body just can't handle it anymore, even with machines and stuff. And so the same place that helped me make a really big batch of my pit goop right now is in like the testing phase, like with my formula. So it's like the exact same cream, just with bigger machines, and the pressure taken off of my body. But the crazy thing is their MOQ, which means the minimum order quantity, is big. So it'll be like I release like one cream every few months because I can't afford to do them all at once, right? But the good news is I'll be able to put my creams as they come out on a subscription so people never run out. And so that's pretty exciting. I'm also having them do my deep slumber magnesium gel, and I'm excited for that one too. And I'm just kind of like a little here, a little there. I know there's not a whole lot in the shop besides like my synergism capsules and like my tooth powders, although I've got 2 new tooth powders on the way. Like I've got a mint one and a charcoal one that'll also be available soon. But I'm just kind of like, it's gonna take me time as I outsource because I don't have millions of dollars. It would literally take me millions of dollars to put everything I've ever made into like outsourced production. So I do like 1 or 2 things at a time, very slowly. But I'll get there. Be the turtle, not the rabbit, right? Um, but anyhow, somebody says, question, does your lip balm, I love it, will it come back anytime soon? Yeah, yeah. I've been taking time and avoiding the apothecary, and I know a lot of people are waiting for a lot of things to come back, and I'm grateful for that. I just needed like time to like reshift my brain and like focus on different things and like see that it's like train my nervous system that it's safe not to have shop updates, right? And the next phase of that is like retraining my body and my nervous system not to be afraid of being in the apothecary. Right, because you got to remember, like for the past decade, like apothecary equaled 14-hour days. Like apothecary equaled no real sleep and like having horrendous deadlines to meet and like just chaos. I mean, it also equaled like paying for our existence and keeping us alive, right? But your nervous system doesn't really equate it that way. And so it's been a while now, and we've been talking about it. As soon as we wrap up with like the little bit of garden stuff this month, being ready for May plantings, that we're gonna slowly step back into the apothecary and do a couple hours of work a day, not push ourselves. It'll probably be what we're probably gonna do is like after breakfast, after tea time, we go to the apothecary and we work until lunch. And I know that sounds like no work, but that's the point. Like, I have to tell my body that it's safe and it's okay, and I can probably get 2 or 3 things done in that time. But if I'm doing that 5 days a week, it adds up, right? I don't have to constantly be grinding myself to make sure that there's lip balm in stock. Right, but yeah, I do. I have a bunch of stuff ready to go. I have another batch of the hemp um, pain salve. Jeez, my brain, as well as the sands and pines. I've got a bunch of under eye. I've got moonblood cramp salve. All that stuff needs to come back. It's just sitting down there waiting for me to bottle it up. Um, and so it's just working on it. And then as I am able to and finding people to outsource for me, I'll do that. The salves and balms has been hard. The cream thing was a miracle. I finally found a place, like a facility, like a production facility in the US that is willing to work with herbal infused waters, and that is hard to find. I have been looking to outsource my balm and salve production for years. I have gotten close to working with people, but here's the catch. Almost none of the balms and salves made in the US that aren't like made in like a small business setting at somebody's house or whatever, they just use essential oils. They're not willing to do, like, they're not going to give me floor space for 6 weeks of infusion and oil. They're just not going to do it, and so it's been hard, but this company that I'm working with now, I've worked with them enough that they're like nudging into things that I do, and I'm like, yes, little bits. I'm gonna get you there. I'm gonna get you where I need you to be. Right, but I also understand that they have to feel like it's worth taking up their floor space and time to work with a company, right? So I'm working on it. So anyhow, if you want to support my capacity to randomly jabber about garden stuff and forget things and talk about business and drink tea and things like that, do consider becoming a member. It's just a way to throw me a couple bucks a month. There's nothing hidden behind a paywall. If you're a member, you do get early access to videos like that wine cap mushroom video I was talking about, but that's only if I happen to upload them on a weekday. If I don't get around to it, they upload like to everybody on a weekend. And if you can't afford to be a member, don't worry, because like I said, everything gets released on the weekend, so you don't have to pay to see anything. It's more like a time wall. If you would also like to check out the things that I make, if you call something home from my Apothecary using the code TEATIME, TEATIME, you will save 10% on anything you call home. It's exclusively how we support like our existence. It's how I keep tea in my pot and a roof over my head. But also, if you can't do any of that, or even if you can, it's really, really helpful if you like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on notifications. Sharing is super helpful because it helps get my work out there. It helps people realize that they are smart enough to do this too. It tells the algorithm that I'm worth showing to the people who even subscribe to me. All that kind of stuff. And generally, I just want you to know that I'm super grateful that you're here with me and that I really love doing these tea times. So, assuming the sky doesn't fall and we all survive the eclipse, which we will, you'll be okay. I will see everybody tomorrow morning. So see you then, folks. Bye.